Community members are rallying around the Glad Day Bookshop in Toronto, believed to be the world's oldest queer bookstore. It has been struggling since the pandemic and recently put out a call to supporters for help. Brittany Billette takes us there.
Earlier this week, it looked as if this iconic and historic bookstore would be closing down. But after just a few days of raising money to save the store, Glad Day Bookshop announced that it collected $112,000.
The fact that 2,000 people support us within like 3-4 days is pretty incredible, and I think it shows the impact we've had over not just weeks or months but years.
On Monday, the shop posted this call out for donations on Instagram, explaining that the store has been going into debt and coming up short on rent since the end of the pandemic. Revenue never bounced back, and high inflation pushed customers and the business to its limits.
Even though Glad Day Bookshop is a bookstore, we also have a nonprofit side called Glad Day Lit. Right, so we do nonprofit work. We function as a nonprofit, for a lot of what we do.
Their landlord gave them until July to pay a lump sum of $100,000 in arrears or else face eviction. In the first 24 hours, the store raised over $58,000.
Yeah, it does feel a bit like a Pride miracle. Everyone's sort of coming together at once. So while things are challenging and scary, it's also hopeful, and now we can really start having those complicated conversations about what happens next.
The immediate crisis is averted, but the store says it has to raise a total of $300,000 to make sure it can stay in its current location and plan for its future. Local councillor Chris Moyes says one solution he's looking into is a community land trust for the whole village. That would give a nonprofit community corporation the power or money to acquire buildings in the area. An example of a land trust can be found in Kensington Market, where their trust owns multiple properties.
Glad Day is a good example in that if the land and the property is owned by the community, then we can be kicked out of it. So this is a prime example as to why I feel a land trust is so important.
I will say that I've heard about it for many years and there's been no action on it. So maybe this kind of crisis will spur the action that we've been looking for a while.
Some customers say the city and the community should do all it can to protect Glad Day.
If you don't maintain the history, you lose the purpose of it, and then it becomes, the Pride Parade really is just a parade of show and color as opposed to what it truly is, which is standing up for the LGBTQ community and trying to create safe spaces.
I think it's a really important community space. There's a lot of activism that happens here, nightlife, it's a gathering place, and it's a place to get books about queer people and queer history, so I think it's awesome.
As the fundraising continues, Glad Day will be gearing up for Pride Month, excited to know that they'll be home in the village for at least a little while longer. Brittany Billette, CBC News, Toronto.